What up? Back here on DSP as the Lions win. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4
and
in
expect
a row.
more.
Do the
what you
Browns
did
and
there.
Bengals count as full wins, or are they each like a half?
Look, man, a
Every
win in the
win counts,
NFL is a
buddy.
win.
Okay.
Yes.
Have some respect.
Oh, that's true. The Packers have a half win, but the Lions don't have a half win, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
okay.
That's
Do
a
we
tie.
count that as a half win or a half
The
loss?
tie in NFL standings counts as a half of each. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into baseball terminology. There we go.
anything to bring it back to baseball.
We'll get to it in segment number
All
2
right.
because the Tigers have a pretty big series coming up as they continue their playoff run. But we begin with the Detroit Lions, a 37-24 win over the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. Yes, Cincinnati was without their starting quarterback in Joe Burrow, but still they built up a huge lead to begin this game and never really looked back as they got their 4th straight win.
Yeah, I understand now why Dan Campbell and the coaching staff didn't feel the need to play anybody in the preseason because they knew they had a preseason in the beginning of October. So the last 2 weeks, the Lions didn't even go and play like their B- game or something like that, and neither game was ever in doubt. So, did we really learn that much about the Lions in this game? I guess we learned that the offense is still able to just turn it on and score whenever they want to, because they got bored for a little bit in the middle of that game, and then they were like,
I think everybody did in a
yeah,
way.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely looked like the Lions knew that, hey, this game really isn't that big of a challenge because they punted like at midfield, and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell that they were just like, just punt it. Give that offense the ball back. They're not going to do anything with it.
You know what? I'm not going to take it for granted, all right? Because they went on the road and they won a game. Because this wasn't always easy for the Lions. Okay.
Remember when you said
And you never
this was getting
know.
boring
Yeah,
with all
you
the
never
winning?
know. The game definitely got boring midway through. You could tell the Lions were bored. The defense, I mean, everybody was just like, let's just wrap this thing up, man.
Running clock at all? No.
Nobody, like Jake Browning's throwing more balls to the Lions than the Bengals.
He's terrible.
Jamar Chase,
Leading
their
tackler.
best linebacker.
Yeah.
It was an ugly game. It was annoying to watch the Bengals keep scoring, and like the Lions were just like, oh, fine, I guess we'll keep playing.
Yeah.
So
do you
it was
give
that
any
kind of
credence
game.
to that in the 4th quarter that maybe they let their foot off of the gas, or as we're saying right here, it was kind of decided, hey, whatever happens, happens. It's such a huge lead that this team had.
It's just hard. Like, it's hard to keep your foot on the gas when
Yeah.
you know the game's over. You know the other team is
quarterback
completely
is
undermanned.
melting down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it probably felt bad for Jake Browning, you know? I just think it's human nature to kind of – the Lions play with such a chip on their shoulder, but there was absolutely no chip to be had, like, once this game got out of hand. So it doesn't concern me, honestly, at all.
It feels like we are right back where we were last year with, just dominating teams and seeing that secondary just get depleted every other play. We're right back where we left off last year.
I will say I was a little worried in that second half, not about the team losing or anything like that, but the injuries to the secondary were
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
making a difference. I mean, the difference in Jamar Chase being able to get open in that second half. Now, of course, like you said, human level, the effort probably wasn't, they weren't going 150%.
Yeah.
But, with Terrion Arnold leaving and Rocket Sin was even having a good game and he left, like things are getting a little dicey in that secondary. And as the Lions get into, they're about to hit like a very difficult portion of their schedule with possibly banged up secondary. And that's really worrying to me.
Especially heading into their bye week, 2 primetime games coming up. And let's begin with the one that they have coming up on Sunday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs play on Monday Night Football, so 2 primetime games for them as well. The Lions then have the Bucs on Monday Night Football right before they head into their break. But looking at this Chiefs game, whenever these two met, 2 years ago? It was, okay, will we find out if this Lions team is legit or not? Going into this game, at 4-1, would you say that this Lions team could be the best team in the NFL? I mean, a far cry from what we were saying in week 1, but looking at this team at 4-1, can that argument be made?
Yes,
at this
I
point?
think you can make that argument. I think that first Chiefs game a couple years ago kind of felt like the christening, like this Lions era. Sure, they beat Green Bay the previous season to end the year, but like that Chiefs game was like, whoa, everybody sort of realized like the Lions have arrived. And I think going into this matchup, I feel like the Lions are a better team, a more complete team than the Chiefs are. And to say that, and from what I've seen from the Packers and what Philadelphia did this weekend, I don't think it's outlandish to say that the Lions might be the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, I think they're the best. I mean, when you look at the NFL, the Lions just are are a machine on offense. And, you know, it's almost like Baltimore when you said that Baltimore may not have even known that we had a grudge against them and we were coming for them. Kansas City might feel the same way. They might not even know that we're coming for them, because I guarantee the Lions remember the asterisk everybody talked about when we did win in KC. And, you know, Travis Kelce's going to be playing this time around. Chris Jones is going to be playing this time around. So I got a feeling that Dan Campbell has this marked on the calendar, and this is going to be one of those bludgeonings that we're just kind of like, oh, wow, primetime Dan Campbell is just money.
He said bludgeoning.
I think there's a bludgeoning coming. I think it's going to be like a 38
word.
Yeah, a 38-17 type of game.
I don't think any team has set their mark as the best team in the NFL yet. I think there's just a bunch of really good teams. I think the Lions are right up there with the Eagles and the Bills and all the 4-1 teams and whatever. I don't think anybody set themselves apart yet. I am really interested to see how this Lions offense does versus the Chiefs, because the Chiefs defense is what's keeping them in the game right now. And the Lions have not faced a good, healthy defense since week 1. And it didn't go well.
No.
And so, I mean, we've seen Baltimore's defense is decimated, and they were against the Lions. Still a good win, don't get me wrong, but like they were, you know, pretty banged up. And then you play at Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cleveland's a good defense too, but they're not like elite. The team is not elite, you know? So I'd really like to see how they perform. I don't want to see a Green Bay situation again. I'm a little more worried than you, because Kansas City is, I mean, they coast through the regular season a lot, but they do show up for big time matchups. So,
and they lost the last time these two teams played.
They don't want to lose
they
at
could
home
have
to
a
the
little
Lions.
bit of that too. Yeah. And like you said about that Cleveland game, there was zero game pressure on the Lions. So yes, they were facing a good defense, but there was absolutely no worry about losing that game. So they're going on the road to face a really good defense, like Ken said, and it's the first time in a month. So we're going to find out some things.
So you brought up the other teams that are 4-1 in the NFL right now. These are the 4-1 teams: the Colts, Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Bucks, and Lions. Tampa Bay and Detroit meet next week on Monday Night Football. But out of those teams, who would you put above this Lions team after what we have seen in the first quarter of the season?
I think the conversation for me is Lions, Eagles, Bills, Bucks, and still Packers, I think. I would still put them in there. I haven't seen enough from the Colts and the 49ers yet.
So you're rounding that up to a full win is what you're saying.
Yeah, right, yes.
For sure. I think the Colts and the 49ers are good teams. I think the Niners just somehow find ways to win despite all the injuries. So they're just a well-coached team. Like, they're always going to be competitive. The Daniel Jones experience, I don't know how long that lasts. I mean, I don't know what to think. Jonathan Taylor's going crazy down there. Like, I don't know what to think about that. They could very well be a really good team, just a surprise team of the year. Who knows? But I think Philly and Tampa Bay in the NFC. I think Tampa Bay is really good.
Yeah.
And Baker
I think so,
Mayfield
too.
is having a season, and even without Mike Evans right now, they are just so explosive. They're never out of it, and that defense is still good. I mean, I don't know.
Emeka
Tampa's
Ibuka is
good.
having, rookie of the year type season.
I think Tampa has. If I had to say, I think Tampa has a little more juice than the Lions do right now. They've won some really impressive games.
Some tight games too.
Yeah.
I mean, pulled away.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's one team that I think, because they had a couple bad losses, well, not bad losses, but games that they should have won, but I still think the Rams are really good. And I would still keep them in that conversation.
Offensively, they're really good. I mean, when Puka's having like a dozen catches a game, can help you out. All right, so that's where we're going. So that's kind of the order.
That's a lot of teams. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's-
I think there's a
early in the
log
NFL
jam. There's a
season,
log
too.
jam. There's a lot of good teams. I think that they're right in it.
There's a lot of bad teams, too. Oy.
It doesn't feel like last year. By the end of last year, it really felt like Lions and Eagles had separated. Obviously, we know how the playoffs played out, but it really felt like the Lions and Eagles had kind of tiered themselves above everybody else. At least to this point in the season, I really don't feel that way. I feel like Ben's arguing for the Rams, and I would probably have them like sixth or something in the NFC. So, I think there's a lot of teams that really deserve to be in that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even talking about Seattle's pretty good.
Yeah.
Washington just got Jane Daniels back. I mean, there's going to be a lot of competition for those last playoff spots.
We shall see how it all plays out, because we're only going into week number 6 of the NFL season. The Lions have Kansas City again on the road, a game that is on Local 4 for Sunday Night Football. But when we return, baseball season still going on in Detroit. Who'd have thunk it, huh?
Not us.
Come on now. Well, but it's still rolling right now because they went to Cleveland and got themselves a wild card series win. And now it's all tied up with the Mariners as the ALDS comes to Comerica Park for a second straight year. We'll dive into that coming up.